Hello there everyone, Eric Padden once again. Thanks for checking in and taking a look at my video. On this video we're going to be talking about what a debt-based currency really is. I don't think people are really aware for the most part that the dollar is a debt-based currency and that our Federal Reserve banking system, along with most of the other central banks around the world these days, are creating what we call a debt-based currency. Now it's going to be going down as one of the biggest scams in the history of mankind. When it finally is exposed, it's going to make every other, Ponzi scheme and everything else in the history of mankind, look like chump change, because we're talking not millions, okay, not billions, but trillions upon trillions of dollars that have been stolen from the American people and from other countries around the world by the bankers that pull the strings on these systems they put into place. And so let me educate you a little bit on, in the case of the United States, the most recent debt-based currency has been implemented through the Federal Reserve banking system. And if you're not familiar with the Federal Reserve, you might want to read a book called The Creature from Jekyll Island. And it talks about how in 1910, basically the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, some of the bankers got together in secret at a property on Jekyll Island, which was a Rockefeller estate. So secret that they went in with fictitious names. They didn't have the normal help. They knew if people got wind of it, that they would have nothing to do with bankers creating this Federal Reserve System, which was really supposed to be helping out, the people. Bottom line, in 1913, the Federal Reserve was introduced. And from that time forward, we've been creating a debt-based currency. What this means is that the very creation of every dollar created has interest being charged on it from the moment it's created. Now, most of us, we think of interest being charged when we buy something. When we buy a home, when we buy a car, we expect, to pay interest on it. However, the interest on the very creation of the currency is completely unnecessary. If you were to go like the Constitution dictates and create your currency through the Treasury, free of interest, you could build a very, very healthy economy. And it's been done. If you were to look at history, some of the most healthy stretches in history were done using fiat currencies. But the key is they were not debt-based fiat currencies. You see, you don't have to have just silver and gold as your only currencies. You can have a fiat currency as long as it's well regulated, as far as how much of it's out there, and there's a good balance, between supply and demand, and you can do it for hundreds of years. It was done in Rome for hundreds of years. They almost conquered the world through a fiat currency, well, very cheap, metals. If you look at the tally sticks in London, 726-year reign, where England almost took over the world using the tally sticks, another fiat currency. The key was it wasn't a debt-based currency. There was no interest being charged on its very creation. That's what creates an unsustainable economy, is when you're charging interest on the very creation of the economy because of the currency. Because think about it, if all the money created to pay the debt only creates more interest, it's just a system that is unsustainable. And as that interest compounds, it's the interest that crushes these economies. So you've heard before that great civilizations are not conquered from outside, but are conquered from within. And this is exactly how it happens. These debt-based currencies that the greedy bankers get in place to basically create debt slaves of all the citizens and even the governments, because all they end up doing is paying interest on the debt. And so anyway, most people are not aware that as we speak today, the majority of the money that we spend in federal income taxes goes to pay interest on this debt, which is unnecessary in the first place. If you really wanted to fix the economy, if the politicians really wanted to fix the economy, they would go after and eliminate the Federal Reserve. Unfortunately, most politicians have kind of learned from the examples in history. You look at people like Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln was assassinated not for the reasons that you hear about, but in reality because he wanted to get rid of the debt-based currency. He actually created the greenbacks, which were a non-debt-based fiat currency. And there was some success there, helped to win the war, but they didn't want to have that continue. So the easiest way to get rid of the greenbacks was simply to take him out, which they did. If you look at the last president to introduce the bill 01111 was an article to get rid of the Federal Reserve and create the currency through the Treasury Department. Well, that was John F. Kennedy, who once again was assassinated. So they really will go to, there's no lengths that they won't go to put these debt-based currencies in place. And unfortunately what it does is it just creates debt slaves of all the people. And these currencies are never ever sustainable. They always end up crashing in the end, and of course they come along with a new one to replace it. And so a lot of people believe that they're in the process of now creating a one world currency to solve the problems of all these various debt-based currencies that are close to the end of their sustainable cycles around the world. And so on this particular video, I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about that, because most people simply don't understand that there's interest being charged on the very creation of these currencies around the world, which is completely unnecessary. And as long as this system stays in place, we will continue to have these cycles where these currencies end up crashing because they're simply unsustainable. So anyway, I hope that helps you out a little bit. You can learn more. I've got other videos on my site at ericpadden.com. If you'd like to get on there, you can educate yourself a little bit more. I'm trying to keep this video somewhat short. I could spend an hour just getting into the details on this one topic. But we'll talk about some other details on some other videos. For now, it's important that you take action and get yourself as much paper, money, dollars, whatever your currency is in your homeland, converted into real money, silver and gold. As you might have seen in my other videos, I just believe silver has a tremendous upside. And so I can help you get your silver, gold, platinum, palladium at wholesale rates. I think it's very important we start converting our paper over into real money, because the real money has been going up in value. It's never once been worthless in the history of mankind, and yet fiat currencies, debt-based fiat currencies, always end up worthless. So do give me a call and we can talk about your situation, talk about the different ways that you can convert your paper into precious metals. Once again, my name is Eric Padden, and I can be reached at 858-705-2487, and ericpadden.com will get you some more information about the situation. So I hope that helps you out a little bit. Once again, thanks for taking a look at my video, and I hope to catch up with you on the next video.